Ernest Shackleton's Endurance Expedition, 1914 to 1917, a real-life survival epic in the age of Antarctic exploration. Endurance, a true story of ice, hope, and survival. Part 1, Into the Frozen South. It was the year 1914, and Europe stood on the brink of war. But far to the south, another battle was forming, not one of empires, but of man against nature. Ernest Shackleton, a veteran of previous polar expeditions, dreamed of becoming the first man to cross the Antarctic continent from sea to sea. He called it the Imperial Trans-Antarctic Expedition, and he named his ship Endurance, after his family motto, "By endurance we conquer." 28 men, handpicked by Shackleton, set sail from England. They passed through the roaring Atlantic, past South Georgia Island, and finally entered the Weddell Sea, a place of beauty and death where the ice moves like a living beast. By January 1915, the Endurance was only 100 miles from landfall. The crew could see the coast of Antarctica, but the sea betrayed them. A sudden shift in the pack ice locked the ship in a frozen grip. They waited for the thaw. Days passed, then weeks, then months. Part 2. Winter arrived, dark and cruel. Temperatures plunged to -30 degrees Celsius, -22 degrees Griffinor. The Endurance became a prison, groaning under the pressure of the ice. Shackleton ordered the men to remain cheerful. They played football on the ice. They told stories. He rationed food and kept morale high. But in October 1915, the ice crushed the ship like a toy. Its wooden hull buckled and cracked. Shackleton gave the order, "Abandon ship." The men salvaged what they could: lifeboats, tents, rations, navigational instruments. The Endurance sank slowly beneath the ice. Now they were alone, on a moving, breaking ice floe, hundreds of miles from civilization, with no ship, no radio, and no hope of rescue. But Shackleton refused to panic. His mission was now survival. Part 3, March across the ice. For months they camped on the ice. Shackleton led them on foot, dragging the lifeboats behind. They shot seals and penguins for food. Every day they scanned the horizon for open water. Finally, in April 1916, the ice broke up enough to launch the lifeboats. In monstrous seas, they rode for 7 days, battling frostbite, hunger, and waves as high as houses. They landed on a barren rock called Elephant Island, the first solid ground in over a year. But Elephant Island was uninhabited. No ships passed that way. Shackleton made a fateful decision. He would sail for help. Part 4, The Impossible Journey. Shackleton chose 5 men. They climbed into a 22-foot boat, the James Caird, and set out on the most daring voyage in maritime history. 800 miles across the Southern Ocean, from Elephant Island to South Georgia. They faced hurricane-force winds, freezing spray, and towering waves. Navigation was nearly impossible. The boat nearly capsized again and again. But after 16 hellish days, they sighted South Georgia. The island's whaling station was on the far side. The men were too weak to sail around, so Shackleton and 2 others climbed over a glacier-covered mountain range without maps, ropes, or climbing gear. It took 36 sleepless hours. When they stumbled into the station at Stromness, bearded, blackened by frostbite, nearly dead, the whalers didn't recognize them. One man whispered, "Who are you?" Shackleton replied, "My name is Shackleton." Part 5, Every Man Saved. But his work wasn't done. 22 men still waited on Elephant Island. Shackleton made 4 rescue attempts. Ice and weather beat him back each time. But finally, on August 30th, 1916, he broke through in a Chilean tugboat. The men on Elephant Island had been stranded for over 4 months. When Shackleton arrived, he called out through the fog, "Are you all well?" One of the men shouted back, "All safe, all well." Not a single man had died. Epilogue, Legacy of Endurance. The world had changed. World War I raged across Europe, but Shackleton's feat, one of courage, leadership, and survival, remains unmatched. He never crossed Antarctica, but in failing, he became immortal. His story has inspired soldiers, explorers, astronauts, and leaders for over a century. And the Endurance? In 2022, over 100 years later, it was found, intact beneath the Weddell Sea, standing proud under the ice, like a ghost ship from another age.